Just landed on a GC. We got our little rent-a-car. We're about to get out and get it done for the day. Couple of podcasts, couple of meetings. Me and Big J in the house, coming straight at you live. Much love, people. Hit subscribe if you're not a fan. Get on board and don't choke like I just did. You. So today, I was supposed to fly up at 6 o'clock this morning. Got up here, it's 11:30. Get to the airport, car doesn't work, car's not there. Ronnie's had an adventure. How'd you go, Ronnie?
Yeah, I've had a pretty good nightmare. Brand new car, played up, wouldn't start. Threw signs and I got to the hotel that was really nice on the internet and turned out to be a nightmare. And I said to the girl, parking spot, she goes, oh, it's best in, best dress. I said, what do you mean? She goes, well, just park it on the street.
The point to this whole scenario is life's going to throw curveballs at you. It's how you deal with them, and you just got to roll with them. And I should have been here at 6 this morning. I'm here at 11:30, and I've got a whole bunch of things that are compressed together. But you just roll with it, and you're grateful for these experiences that taught me patience. Teach you anything today?
Patience and tolerance, mate, and powerlessness. Like, you know, it could be a lot worse. I could not have a car. I might be able to afford to go to a hotel.
Can't shift and change what you can't shift and change. Focus on what you can, and life will be different.
Exactly, 100%.
Next one, Tom. Let him go.
Oh, mate. That's the one rule I've heard as a kid, is always strong. Yeah.
Tonksy Podcast, we're about to shoot that.
Yeah, from the day. This is awesome. We're Melbourne based. Well, we're a little bit, our show's, it's an entertainment show, so it's pretty nice. So we talk to athletes, business people, music people, like every industry you can imagine. And mate, we're so keen to hear your story and chat with you today.
Nothing's going right.
We've got you now.
I said, times, this, that, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, we just shoot it. It's all part of the day.
Well, today's a big one.
Oh, yes.
A really big one. Jeff Morgan, welcome to the Tonksy Show.
Thanks for having me.
How do you survive? Like, what do you have to do to survive at 12?
By the end of it, I was a bank robber. I was arrested the last 2 times. 7 years sentence in Melbourne. 2003, 2010 is the last time I was in custody and released. Been home 14 years now. Listen, I love yous, but I reckon we're being watched, and I reckon the camera's in there, or they're about to jump out of that and arrest us all. I'm not going to walk up to the car. If you want to do that, that's up to you. I'll wait up at the Taraga. If I see he's getting arrested, I'm out. I'm battling over fences. I wish you all the best.
Mate, that was...
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
I love that, because no one's asked that in that way. It's done and dusted. Love that. That was a good podcast. Love that podcast with Dos and D. Mate, chatted a lot about what prison was like, what jail was like, what life was like as a bank robber. And I think that gives context to who I used to be and how far I've come on that journey. It's something that people sort of surface level, as they talk about, but they dug deep on it. And hopefully that gives you context that no matter how messed up you might think your life was, you can always get more out of life. Let me be that lesson to you. In the travel quite a lot, so we end up at a cafe. We don't know what you're going to get. It's always a mixed bag, but let's see what they got. Keep the goal there. Sometimes you get into a place, the girl behind the counter looks fit as banana, water, protein shake, happy days, son. But it doesn't go down like that always, and sometimes you end up having to pick something that I call just acceptance. There's nothing you can do about it. You're in a rush or you're in between spots. Don't beat up on that. That's just the reality of life, and that becomes your focus. You carry that stress throughout your day, and that's how you build yourself for the rest of your life. Do you want that? Don't think so. Protein shake, that didn't go down too bad. Off to the next podcast. But what I wanted to talk about really quickly was probably everything in the schedule today has not gone to plan, and I'm talking flights, podcast times, and no doing of my own. And I could sit there and cry about it, whinge about it, stress about it, take on everything else from an external. But most people will do that. If something happens to you, what do you do in that situation? Most people will do that in general, and they'll get to a point where stress becomes a huge part of their life, to the point where stress is your middle name. I want you to think about how you could shift that, and if you're not sure how to do that, that is your sign that you need somebody like myself to help you. Hit the link in the bio. Let's go. Let's go to this next one.
Yeah, brother. Let's do it.
We're gonna make it happen. Things have happened today. They go askew. We've spoken about that, but you just roll on. And that's what life's about, rolling on to the next opportunity. This big bad boy. Yeah, boy.
Let's get it done, mate. The Jeffrey Morgan. Welcome to the podcast, brother.
Thanks for having me, bro. Moving with the father, becomes abusive, hang jump out the window, and it was survival mode. I just, imagine a 12-year-old kid. Look at your son, your daughter, your nieces, your nephews, and at 12 years of age, I'm out on the streets and I'm doing my best to survive. Not justifying it, but I look back, I rewind at this point in time in my life, and I think to myself, did I have, or was I equipped with the skills to make better choices or the right choice? I didn't even know what the right choice looked like to make that choice. And people think, I have to go through trauma to get that. No, we're talking about really identifying the roadmap to your life, then being and creating the framework and structure for a solid foundation to then build upon. And the build upon is the real estate. And I'm not talking about doing weights and I'm talking about your thoughts. But I remember he saying, "What's this pig?" We were playing football, and he goes, "You take it, bro." And I was like, I passed it back to him. I was like, "Oh my God, how did a pig get in the jar?"
Coming on, bro.
Love it. Thanks for having me. Not bad. Another podcast done and dusted.
Well done, mate.
They didn't go right. You heard during that podcast that things don't always go right. Time was precious. Unfortunately, time got chewed up a lot today, not by my own doing, but we've got to appreciate what opportunities we do get. When I get in that spot, I prioritise my time, and I came up here to see Tonksy and a couple of other people. Those people get that first dib at yourself, and you getting the chance and opportunity with them, make the most out of your life and make sure that you use your time well. Let's go roll on to the next place in space. Been a pretty crazy day, a couple of podcasts, a couple of meetings up here on the Gold Coast. What do you go to when you're on the run? We've been on the run. What have you eaten today, Jay?
Nothing.
Nothing. Unbelievable. I've had a protein shake, and I was very lucky that I grabbed some nuts at the airport. The blue packet, I love that packet. But if I hadn't grabbed that, I pretty much haven't eaten anything. I want to chow down on a full chicken, and doesn't your mind, as much as I want to eat well, I'm thinking about eating chips, thinking about eating chocolate cake. But the challenge is to challenge that mindset, because I want to be reflective of who I truly am and what I put out to the world. Enjoy your day, make good choices, man. You're worth it.
I know this has been owned by 3 different people that I know, and this has gone from Simo from the Clink and Jeff Morgan. Let's go. Let's go. Us and someone.
Yes, Jay. Good job, man.
How good. Welcome to the Gold Coast and welcome to Palm Beach, the greatest beach, the best beach, my beach.
The only beach.
The only beach.
The only beach that exists here. Mate, it's been a long day. I'm on my way home. Very intentional on the way home. Spoke to one of our coaching clients. He's coming back from the GC, Gold Coast, here in Australia. Beautiful, lot of beaches. If you haven't been to the Gold Coast, get yourself down here when you visit Oz. Mate, I'm that intentional that I heard my coaching client say he's travelling back from the Gold Coast. We actually booked, or I had booked my seat already. He booked the seat next to me. We're going to talk business on the way back and talk about a JV, which is a joint venture for those that don't know. And that, a coaching client becomes a partner in a business, and together you elevate within life. And that means that you have the problem or the solution to make your life a different one. Today's been a challenging one, but at the end of it, I'm grateful for the opportunities I got, and I took them as best I could, and that's all it takes. Sometimes it's not always going to work out the way you want it, but my biggest advice to everybody out there is just keep showing up, giving it your best, learn from it as much as you can all of the time. Overthinking will lead you to a space you don't want to be, and I'm looking out at the beach straight ahead, and that's a place I want to be. Calmer, happier, more successful than ever before. Lessons become blessings. Much love. Headed out. We're headed back to the airport. I was talking about that before. Sometimes it's a lonely road to the path you want to travel, which means I think it scares a lot of people. Who agrees with that? Drop it in the comments below. I'd love to know, because today as an example, say Sarah stayed home, I'm up here on the GC by myself doing this business, but it's a hard road to travel when you're by yourself, but you know that it's worthy, because come July or something, I'm off to Europe. I know that the efforts I put in today are worth it. You ever feel like that though, that you're sometimes on a journey and you feel so alone and isolated, especially if you leave friends behind? Make sure that you appreciate and know the intentions of your pathway, because if you don't, you'll get to a point where you feel isolated and you go back to comfort, and comfort's usually damage yourself. And if you're stepping back to friends that don't respect you, then what are you thinking you're going to get tomorrow for breakfast from your friends when you sit down with them? Think about that. Coming into the airport, little bump here. I was just caught up with a whole bunch of old school blokes that have been around. If you know, you know. I was looking at the table and they were just all tanks. I think, how did I get through 20 years of that? It's just, it blows me away. On that table was probably 80 years worth of jar. They're all doing good things in their life, otherwise I wouldn't have caught up with those men. That's how I sit in this day and age. By all means, if someone had just come home and I can help them out, I'd definitely catch up, but if they got the wrong intention, I'd move on. We pull back into the GC. I've downloaded a lot onto people's podcasts, business meetings today. It's been very proactive, productive towards the life I want. I always talk about that, but Jay, you've seen it today. What are your thoughts, my bro? Any thoughts in the background?
Very interesting people.
Yeah.
Everyone's got cool stories.
Crazy.
Yeah. Everyone's really nice too.
Love that. And I just want to share this, and I'm going to keep vlogging. And I'm going to share those travels across the world. It's something I've thought about, maybe even catching up with people who have been in crime and then given up crime and got into business, and talking about that on the blogs and vlogs. By all means, let us know. Drop a comment below. Would that be of interest to you, to actually talk to those that were once there but are now no longer there and doing great things with their life? Because I think that'd be an interesting series, as Jay said. So we're going to sign off from the Gold Coast. It has been a hit and run mission. I've been up and back, and I'm grateful for today. And it's been a lesson and a bunch of lessons. Sorry, my young self seen over the dash. But I hope you've enjoyed the vlog, and leave a comment below. Subscribe if you haven't. We're going to run these more often than not, and let us know. Did you enjoy it? What would you like to see? What place or space would you like to see me at? What country? What event? What experience? What hotel? What airline? Let us know. Drop it in the comments. Let's go.